What is going on, and welcome to Take on the World of Lockup. If you ever tuned into the gritty world of Blue Bloods or felt the suspense of Law and Order, the chances are you've heard of Rikers Island. But today we're peeling back the layers of this infamous jail and diving deep into the history to uncover the stories you won't find on the small screen. Let's start with a man whose name is forever intertwined with the island's legacy, Abram Rikers. Going back to 1610, Abram was born in the Netherlands. Let's fast forward to 1638, where he was among the brave souls sailing to the New World, seeking an opportunity and a fresh start in the city called New Amsterdam, which is now known as Manhattan. But Abram's story doesn't end there. He was not just a passenger on a journey, he was a trailblazer. Settling on Long Island, in what would later become Queens, Abram's vision and ambition shaped the landscape around him. His land holdings and activities in the region don't just make him a landowner, they make him a community leader, a man with a vision for the future. And then in 1644, Abram makes the move that changes the course of history. He purchases an island, but not just any island, Rikers Island. Back then, it was a mere fraction of its current size, a small plot of land surrounded by swirling waters of the East River. But here's the twist. Rikers Island wasn't exactly prime real estate. It was low-lying and prone to flooding during high tides and storms. It was a small island at the mercy of the elements, its fate tied to the ebb and flow of the tides. Yet, despite its vulnerabilities, Abram saw potential in this rugged landscape, a potential that would shape the island's destiny for centuries to come. So that's the beginning, the story of Abram Rikers and the birth of Rikers Island. But this is just the beginning of our journey. Join me as we uncover more secrets, unravel more mysteries, and shine the light on the hidden corners of America's most notorious jail. Now that we've covered the early days of Rikers Island, from its humble beginnings to the ambitious vision of Abram Rikers, let's move forward to a pivotal moment of American history, the Civil War. In the 1860s, Rikers Island is about to embark on a whole new chapter. The nation torn apart by conflict, the island takes on a new role as a training ground for Union soldiers. That's right, Rikers Island becomes the hub of military activity, serving as a crucial training camp during one of America's darkest hours. But it wasn't just any training camp. This was Camp Astor, named after the illustrious John Jacob Astor III, a man who played a key role in the financing and supporting of the Union war effort. Imagine thousands of soldiers marching across the island, drilling, practicing marksmanship, and honing their military skills. From basic training to advanced maneuvers, Camp Astor was equipped with everything needed to prepare soldiers for the challenges of war. But what made Rikers Island the perfect location for this training camp? It came down to isolation. Situated in the middle of the East River, Rikers Island provided the ideal setting for an extensive training exercise without the risk of disruption of civilian life in New York City. Temporary barracks, training facilities, and staging areas were all set up to accommodate the influx of recruits. From here, soldiers would rest, regroup, and prepare before being deployed to the front lines, ready to defend their country and fight for freedom. So what does this mean for Rikers Island? It's more than just a correctional facility. It's a symbol of resilience, a testament to the island's strategic value, and its role in shaping the course of history. Let's move forward to the 19th century, where the fate of Rikers Island hangs in the balance. In 1884, the Rikers family was ready to part ways with the island, but selling off this piece of land wasn't as straightforward as you might think. This deal was riddled with drama, politics, and a few more twists and turns. It all started in 1883, when the New York City Commission of Charities and Corrections expressed an interest in purchasing Rikers Island for use as a workhouse. But here's the catch. Any such purchase had to be approved by the state. And that's where things began to get interesting. In January 1884, State Senator Frederick S. Gibbs introduced a bill authorizing the commission to buy the land. And guess what? In May of the same year, Governor Grover Cleveland signed off on the bill, giving the green light for the purchase to go ahead. But the drama was just getting started. You see, Rikers Island wasn't just any old piece of land. It was smack dab in the middle of Long Island City, located in Queens County. And with the potential transfer of ownership, tensions were running high between the politicians of Long Island City, Queens County, and New York City. It was a political powder keg. But fear not, after much squabbling back and forth, a compromise was reached. On July 31st, 1884, all three entities agreed to a deal. New York City would pay a total of $3,000, with $2,500 going to Long Island City and $500 to Queens County. And just like that, Rikers Island was officially in city hands. But wait, there's more. On August 4th, 1884, the ink was dry in the contracts as Commissioner of Charities and Corrections, Jacob Hess, signed on a dotted line. The island was officially purchased from John T. Wilson, descendant of the Rikers family, for a cool $180,000. So what did this mean for Rikers Island? It was more than a real estate deal. It was a symbol of power, politics, and the ever-shifting landscape of New York City. As our journey through the labyrinth of Rikers Island continues, we've already explored its origins, the role in the Civil War, and the political wranglings that led to this acquisition by the city. But now hold on to your house as we dive into the murky waters of Rikers Island landfill days and its transformation into the bustling corrections facility. Imagine this, it was the early 20th century, and Rikers Island wasn't exactly living up to its potential as a workhouse. Instead of housing inmates, it became a dumping ground for New York City's garbage, a true valley of ashes, if you will. Coal, smoke, rats aplenty, and the scene straight out of a noir thriller. But fear not, for help is on the way in the form of legendary New York City planner Robert Moses. With New York's World's Fair on the horizon, Robert Moses knew something had to be done. No self-respecting fair would be located near a smelly, rat-infested trash heap. And so a practical decision was made. The trash was sent packing to Staten Island, to the infamous Fresh Kills landfill. Ah, the irony of the name. Fresh Kills indeed. But Rikers Island wasn't destined to remain a dumping ground forever. In the late 1920s, plans were afoot to repurpose the island for its intended use as a correctional facility. With the population of New York City booming, the need for more jails was greater than ever. And so, in 1932, Rikers Island Correctional opened its doors just in the nick of time. Picture this, inmates from the jail and workhouse on Blackwell's Island, now Roosevelt Island, packing their bags and making the move to Rikers Island. But it wasn't just people that were moving. Trash was too. Lots of it. The island's usable landmass expanded from a measly 90 acres to a whopping 415 as more and more garbage was piled on. And just like that, Rikers Island became more than just a landfill. It became a home for thousands of inmates, a sprawling complex of correctional facility and administration buildings. From its humble beginnings as a dumping ground to its transformation into a bustling corrections hub, Rikers Island has seen it all. Now we're delving into the nitty-gritty of Rikers Island's environmental challenges. From rats to trash fires to flooding, this island has seen it all, so buckle up. Let's start with the rats. In the early 20th century, Rikers Island found itself overrun with these pesky critters. Not only were they a nuisance, but they were also posing serious health risks for the inmates and staff. In 1934, authorities launched a major campaign to exterminate the rats once and for all. They pulled out all the stops, using everything from rat poison to trained dogs and ferrets. And let me tell you, it was no small feat. Tens of thousands of rats met their demise in this epic battle. The successful reduction of the rat population led to significant improvements in sanitation and living conditions on the island. But rats weren't the only challenge on Rikers Island. Being a landfill brought its own set of problems, namely trash fires. The city regularly dumped large quantities of trash on the island, which was then burned as a method of waste disposal. Sounds simple, right? These fires often got out of control, spewing thick, noxious smoke into the air and posing serious health risks to everybody nearby. These fires released a cocktail of pollutants, including particulate matter and toxic chemicals, contributing to environmental degradation and long-term health risks. But fear not, the island was eventually transitioned away from this hazardous practice, making a critical shift towards better environmental stewardship and improving living conditions for all. Let's not forget about the flooding. Situated in the East River, Rikers Island was no stranger to flooding, especially during extreme weather events. Floodwaters can carry contaminants, sewage, and other pollutants, posing serious health risks to those living and working on the island. Over the years, various measures have been implemented to mitigate the flooding, including the installation of drainage systems, strengthening the seawalls and levees. An effort has also been made to upgrade and modernize the island's sewage infrastructure, addressing issues like sewage overflows and spills. Despite these efforts, environmental issues on Rikers Island remain a cause for concern. From asthma to gastroenteritis, inmates and staff face a myriad of health problems as a result of living in such challenging conditions. Let's not forget about the mental toll. Living in fear of the next environmental disaster can take a serious toll on one's mental health. Advocacy groups, civil rights organizations, and concerned individuals continue to push for reforms, aiming to improve the health, safety, and dignity of those incarcerated on the island. So there you have it, folks, the untold story of Rikers Island environmental challenges. Get ready for a tale that'll warm your hearts and challenge your perceptions. Picture this, the year is 1957. A stormy night at LaGuardia Airport, and Northeast Airlines Flight 823 is in trouble. The plane goes down in a blaze and chaos ensues. But amidst the panic and fear, there shines a beacon of hope, the unlikely heroes of Rikers Island. Yes, you heard that right. Inmates from Rikers Island, typically viewed as society's outcast, rose to the occasion in a moment of crisis. Without a second thought, they rushed to the aid of screaming, disoriented passengers trapped in burning wreckage. Their bravery knew no bounds as they pulled survivors to safety, risking their own lives in the process. And their acts of heroism did not go unnoticed. These unlikely heroes received commendations for their valor, along with shortened sentences and a token of gratitude for their selfless actions. But amidst the accolades and praise, there's a twist to this tale, one that sheds light on the complex layers of human nature. Enter Antonio Queen, a young man whose life takes an unexpected turn when he learns the truth about his father's past. You see, Antonio's father was one of the inmates who bravely aided in the rescue efforts of that fateful night. But here's the kicker. Antonio had no idea his dad had ever been incarcerated at Rikers Island. The revelation sent shockwaves through his world, offering a glimpse into the secret chapter of his family's history. But fate works in mysterious ways, doesn't it? Despite his initial disbelief, Antonio finds himself following in his father's footsteps, albeit a different capacity. Yes, Antonio Queen eventually becomes warden at Rikers Island, tasked with overseeing the very institution where his father once served as an unlikely hero. So there you have it, a tale of courage, redemption, and the power of human kindness. But that's not why you came here. You came here to hear about the dark side. Welcome to the shadowy underbelly of Rikers Island, where dark tales lurk behind every door. As we peel back the layers of history, we uncover not just stories of heroes, but also the controversies of the stained reputation. Imagine a place where the lines between justice and abuse blurs, where power dynamics play out in the most sinister ways. This is the reality of Rikers Island, where the treatment of prisoners has long been subject of heated debate. Among the accusations are allegations of excessive force by correction officers, strip searches that strip away dignity, and the use of restraints that cross the lines into cruelty. These practices have ignited fierce argument and raised serious questions about the ethics of incarceration. I will note that there are two sides to every story, and there are two sides to this as well. The controversy doesn't end there. In the halls of Rikers, whispers of an inmate-run fight club echo through the corridors. Yes, you heard that right. Inmates left to their own devices allegedly organize brutal fights for their own amusement. Picture it. Cells transformed into makeshift arenas where prisoners are pitted against each other like gladiators of old. And what's at stake? Not glory or honor, but the most basic of human needs, cigarettes and food. Accusations fly and video evidence emerges, painting a chilling picture of life behind bars. In a place where order should reign supreme, chaos reigns unchecked, and the line between predator and prey blurs into nothingness. It's a grim reminder that even in the most tightly controlled environments, humanity's darkest impulses can run wild. As we delve deeper into the history of Rikers Island, we are forced to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of power, justice, and the human condition itself. Now we'll talk about the celebrity guest list of Rikers Island. Yes, you heard that right. Rikers has hosted some big names over the years, and not just in the world of crime. Let's take a look at some of the VIPs who've checked in. Tupac Shakur, the rap legend, made a brief appearance at Rikers Island in 1995, adding a little hip-hop flair to the island's inmate roster. Lil Wayne, this Grammy Award-winning rapper, had his own extended stay in 2010, bringing his lyrical prowess to the cell block. Sid Vicious, punk rock royalty Sid Vicious and the Sex Pistols found himself in a different kind of mosh pit at Rikers Island, awaiting trial in 1978. Dominique Strauss-Kahn, from the head of the International Monetary Fund, did a stint at Rikers Island in 2011. This high-profile case had the world watching. Of course, everybody knows the name Bernie Madoff, the mastermind behind one of the biggest financial scandals in history, got a taste of his own medicine at Rikers Island in 2009. David Berkowitz, better known as the infamous Son of Sam. Berkowitz spent some time at Rikers Island in the 70s, adding a chilling chapter to its history. Bobby Shmurda. Last but not least, we have Bobby Shmurda, whose catchy tunes earned him fame outside, but found himself behind bars in 2014, adding a new beat at Rikers soundtrack. These are just a handful of names who have graced Rikers Island with their presence. We've explored its history, from its Civil War training grounds to its role as a landfill turned correctional facility. We have delved into the environmental challenges it faced, from rat infestation to trash fires, and examined the notable inmates who've passed through its gates. But amidst the tales of controversy and hardship, there are also stories of heroism and resilience. From inmates who risked their lives to save others in a plane crash to celebrities who found themselves on the wrong side of the law, Rikers Island has been the stage for both triumph and tragedy. We can't go on without noting how Rikers Island has buried itself into pop culture in movies and TV shows. As we close this chapter on Rikers Island, one thing is clear. Its legacy is as complex and multifaceted as the city it calls home. Whether it's grappling with issues of justice and incarceration or celebrating the resilience of human spirit, Rikers Island will continue to be a symbol of New York City's past, present, and future. They have talked about closing Rikers Island many times over the years. Currently, it is slated to close by 2026 and replaced by 4 new jails at a total cost of $8.7 billion. I will believe it when I see it, because they've already postponed the closing date from December 31st, 2026 to August 31st, 2027. So here's to Rikers Island. No matter what its future is, it certainly has left a mark on the past. Now you go take on the world, but don't get locked up doing it.